I said it before that it seems like it's every single day there's some sort of stabbing, shooting, something's happening on the TTC. Now, if not the TTC, then, obviously somewhere in Toronto. But what we have here is something that I would freak out. And that is this woman, right, was apparently slashed in the face at Spadina Station. And further on in the video, I will probably give you my advice on what I would do, right, when I go out in public. And Spadina is a place that I've grown up pretty much, right, because it's somewhere I go on occasion. And, Toronto had been a very safe city until the past 15 years. And one of the reasons I believe, right, is because of the failure of the baby boomers, at least the tail end of the baby boomers that are dying. But anyway, so I'll talk a bit more about that later. So this woman's face, right, slashed in an attack at Spadina Station. Let me just read on what's happening here. So I guess they got into an argument, and it wasn't at like night. It wasn't at like 4 a.m. This was at 6:34 p.m., which is around rush hour, which I'm assuming when people are getting off work. Now, she got into a verbal dispute with three people she didn't know, and I'm going to give you this advice right now. You know that the city is going through the situation where people are getting stabbed, shot, and everything else, then you might as well figure that out and essentially don't say anything. What are you there is literally nothing to argue about on the TTC. First of all, what you want to do is you want to get on and then, try to get your own space and then try to ride it out, right? I mean, there's really no point in getting into arguments. Now, if somebody bothers you, and nowadays there's a lot of people that bothers people, right? Leave. That's the best thing you could do. I mean, it's better than getting your face slashed. And I had that happen, right? This guy, and he looked like this homeless guy. I already was sitting in a spot, and I already like pretty much block off the other seat. Now, somehow he wanted to sit beside me. So I was like, okay. I just walked off, right? I mean, I didn't want to sit beside him. So I just walked off. Some people would be like, oh, it feels bad to leave because he sat down. No, I don't care. I don't want to sit beside this guy. He looked like a druggie. He looked like he's drunk. He looked like he's going to steal stuff from me. Why am I going to let sit beside him, right? So I just walk off, and that's literally what I did. Now, let's say this woman probably got into an argument somehow. I don't know. Maybe she was pushed. Maybe something happened, but she got into a dispute. And like I was saying, right? Try not to get into disputes because, I mean, she only got stabbed. I mean, she only got slashed in the face, but what if she got stabbed, right? And that would have been a life-threatening injury. So, well, I guess this is already kind of life-changing injury. But essentially, if you just walked off, you wouldn't have gone stabbed, you wouldn't have gone slashed. So, there's that. And it all ties back to what I was saying before about the TTC basically opening all doors and not charging people. So, a few days ago, maybe a week ago, I don't remember. These things been a really long time nowadays. So, a few days ago, I was on the TTC and this girl got on in the back, right? And there was this woman. I mean, she was like an older woman, right? I already saw the girl got on, and she didn't pay, right? She didn't scan her card, or even if she had a card or something. But this older woman kept on bugging her, and even like nudged her. That is a way to get slashed and stabbed nowadays. You gotta be careful. Mind your own freaking business, right? And like I was saying, this is the fault of the TTC opening the door and not charging them, But anyways, I mean, mind your own business. You don't own the TTC, right? I mean, I don't know what happened here, obviously. So apparently, investigator says a man spat in the woman's face and repeatedly pushed her. But I want to know what happened before that. You see, the thing is that don't happen like out of nowhere, right? People don't just spat on you and then push you for no reason. That made no sense. And then this person pulled out a knife and and slashed her, causing her facial injury. Obviously, this is gonna be very, very bad. And like I was saying, you could have just avoided the situation. And I know that I'm not exactly saying that the man and these other kids, because this guy, I don't know how old he is, but he's around 19 or maybe 18. And then there was another one that was 19 or 18. And then there's another girl that was 16 or to 19. See? That's what it says, right? But I don't think they reported the girl. Oh, no, wait. Here it is. 17. Well, they're guessing she's 17 to, 14 to 17. But nowadays, anybody above 13-year-old, you see news about these girls that killed this homeless guy, right? And they were 13 to 16. So these teenagers are more rough than the ones that I'm used to knowing. I mean, I used to hang out in a gang sort of thing, but I wouldn't go out and basically slash people, right? I mean, I had a long chain and I was ready to fight and stuff like that, but I wouldn't I wouldn't run around with a knife. I mean, I had like this chain, right? This long chain, and it was a spiky chain, and you know, if somebody bothered me, obviously I was ready to go duke it out. But nowadays, since I'm older, it's sort of different. But in the teenage years, these things happen, and you don't want to run around arguing with teenagers that are a little rebellious and everything else, right? So, anyways, and that looked like a pretty big knife. Look at that. That isn't a small knife. I mean, that looks like a. Look at this. This thing is like this. That thing is like huge. It's like, what the hell? This looked like a sword, right? But or a dagger or something like that, right? If this is the hand, and you know what's the worst thing? What the hell is wrong with the security camera? This security camera is worse than 1080p, right? So the TDC is pretty sad because first of all, your security camera sucks, and then you're opening the doors and people are not even paying, and now people are getting hurt. So basically, you're doing everything wrong, TTC. And I've emailed the CEO about this, but he doesn't care. I guess he's trying to get government funding or something. So all of this is happening because obviously, clearly, they're mismanaging how this thing. They're supposed to run their business, right? The TTC, and it's horrible. I mean, I don't feel safe on the TTC, and like I said, if you seen my other videos, I used to like pretty much sleep on the TTC, right? Since I was 13, because I couldn't go home because, I didn't really have a house. I did, but my family didn't really like me. So, anyways, this woman was slashed. Obviously, she's heavily injured. I don't know how old she is, but I'm guessing she's an older woman because younger people don't really argue this thing, right? Argue that much. And it's really funny because there's really no description of these people, right? I mean, look at it. Right? Look at this. First suspect, male, 5'10", 140 pounds with a slim build and black hair, puffy black hair. And he's wearing a jacket with fur. And none of these actually is relevant because everything could change, right? I mean, these are teenagers, right? They have more clothes than they have like books. So, you know, like why are these even relevant? I mean, this is the information you give us. Why don't you do? Don't they have those? I'm pretty sure the woman is still alive. She was slashed in the face and everything, but um, she's probably still alive because who gave out this description, right? I mean, somebody must have given out this description. Can't they do one of those? I don't even know what they call it, but basically draw out the picture or something, right? So, anyways, the second suspect, and this was all on the TTC. You would think that people would be here, right? At 6, what is it, 6:30 something p.m., which is pretty, a pretty busy time at Spadina Station. And, that's where uh, the fare checkers come in. And it's very funny, too, because usually you'd think that there would be police around here as well, because the last time I've been going out, I've seen a lot of police on the TTC, but now, this thing is still happening with the police. And this is, like I was saying, one of the most heavily used TTC stations. I mean, the subway station. Anyways, it says Toronto deployed 50 security guards. Doesn't look like it's enough, man. I mean, if this is still happening, obviously, I'm feeling very sorry for this woman here. But depending on what happened, I want to know what happened because, like I was saying, I was on the TTC and then, what do you call it? This woman saw this. I mean, I saw the girl too, and the girl wasn't, she wasn't old. She was like my age, maybe a bit younger. Maybe she's in her 20s. I don't know, right? But she was young, and this lady, I guess she's around her 50s or 60s. I don't know, somewhere around there. She just wouldn't give up on telling the girl to pay. Was like kept on nudging her, and like I was saying, that is a way to get into an argument. It's like mind your own business. That's how it is. I mean, most people, it's like, what's wrong with you, right? I mean, just mind your own business, and then you won't get hurt. And that's exactly what's happening here, and that's exactly what you need to do in Toronto, because Toronto is no longer a safe city. And, you gotta really, how should I say it? You gotta really mind your own business, try to get in and out, because this is a extremely dangerous city now, and anything can happen. I think this is not even the first time this has happened. I think this is the second time it has happened. Let me just go here and see what's happening here. Man, this thing is kind of is stupid. I mean, you'd think that, hey, there would be like some sort of, what do you call it? See, this is a busy station, right? Where's the security camera videos? This is ridiculous. There's no security camera videos. They should release the security camera videos. But anyways, like I was saying, just get in and out. That's the best way to protect yourself. Do not go the places during rush hour, because obviously it's not a good time to go. So nowadays, I really rarely go out, and even if I go out, I go in and out. Even when I was going to the grocery store, there's like people trying to steal stuff, and then security guards. I saw like 4 people rush this woman. It's like absolutely insane nowadays in Toronto, and it's certainly not a place you want to go to, as I don't feel it's safe. Again, a lot of it has to do with the decisions made by the baby boomers. So let's talk about that. What led to this? I mean, when I was younger, right, this rarely happened. I mean, we had to follow the rules, right? It's like when in order to get onto the streetcar, we had to pay, right, with the tickets and stuff like that. But nowadays, that's not happening. Anybody's just walking on, right? And if we didn't want to pay, essentially what would happen is that we would walk. That's how it was. So, somewhere along the line, they started to allow everybody on the TTC. And that is when this TTC thing started, right? Because most of the younger people, I guarantee you, because I've seen it so many times, most of the younger people, they don't even pay when they got on the TTC at all, right? I mean, I see them go on. I'm like, why am I still scanning this thing? I'm paying for this thing. It's like a lot of them just go on. And I know there are fare inspectors, right? But they only inspect when nobody's there, right? I mean, I've been inspected, and then on the entire TTC, right, and this long streetcar, there were 4 people. So you're inspecting 4 people to see if they're dodging fares. But when you're on the TTC during rush hour like this, they're nowhere to be seen. The same thing here, right? This is rush hour, and the police aren't here. Supposedly they're supposed to be roaming. So, they're only roaming places when there's nobody there, right? I mean, it should be the complete opposite. You should be rolling places when there's people there. It's like they're avoiding these situations. That's what I feel. But anyways, like I said, the baby boomers did a horrible job. I always said that they did a horrible job, right, at teaching the next generation. And all those teachers that like think they're some sort of special deity, some sort of like I had a lot of teachers that think, "Oh, you know, I'm actually doing the society good by like grading my students and stuff like that." You're all horrible people because you produced a horrible situation and it's only getting worse, right? It's not getting better at all. And I know this because I used to be one of them, right? I mean, had I not picked myself up from the ground and said, I don't want to be a bum, I would have walked the same path because I was trained to walk into that path by these horrible teachers that I don't even know how they're qualified to be teachers, but essentially they're horrible teachers and they built this really horrible system which is pretty much tanking into the ground. And it's only going to get worse with inflation as the price of thing rises and the entitlement rises. It's only going to get worse. And it's all because of these teachers doing a horrible job. Maybe there's some more stuff, but mainly speaking, most of the young people that are doing this is because of the horrible teachers running the schools.